Well, hello everybody. My name is Veronica Robbins and I'd like to welcome you to this week's tip from the Grant Goddess. Today we're going to talk about taking your research beyond the RFA. Now, some of you are aware of this, but some of you may not be, so I'll let you know that RFA stands for Request for Applications. Sometimes we use that interchangeably with the term RFP, or Request for Proposals. So we're going to talk for just a minute or two today about how you can go beyond what's written in the RFA to give yourself a competitive advantage with your grant. We suggest that you read the reference materials and other materials suggested in the RFA. For state and federal grants, you absolutely need to read the authorizing statute, and I'll tell you why. In some federal proposals, you'll find that they have a scoring criteria for addressing the purposes of the statute. Now, if you don't read the statute, then you absolutely can't address that as well as those who do. You may assume that everything you need to know about the law that has authorized the grant for which you are applying is included in the RFA, but that's not necessarily so. And I can give you an example for a literacy grant we're working on right now. There's little reference to what grade levels or ages the program should be targeted at within the RFA. However, when you read the statute, you find that the same law that's funding this literacy grant also funds other literacy programs for early literacy, programs for birth through age 7, family literacy, and that sort of thing, which tells us that if you want to be competitive and really be able to address the purposes of the statute, you're going to focus your program on the early grades or the primary grades or ages birth through 7 or 8. The next suggestion here is that you review all website references. Now, this used to be a lot easier 10 or 15 years ago when there was maybe 1 or 2 website references in an RFP than it is now, because now you may see pages of website references. But I still strongly suggest that you review each and every one. And here's why. In a grant I applied for several years ago, there was a website referenced, and the RFA said, please refer to this website for more information on developing your needs assessment. And there were website references throughout the RFP to check this, check that, and it would have been easy to skip it. But when you went to that website, what you found was a page that said, if you're applying for XYZ grant, here is the specific needs assessment process you need to include and describe in your proposal. And then it went on to describe it like a roadmap. A, B, C, D, E. Those of us who went to that website and followed the instructions on that site were funded. Those who didn't weren't. Now, that's a powerful reason to review every website reference, and we do every single time. Finally, check lists and abstracts of previously funded projects. You can usually go to the funder's website. They'll at least have a list of other programs that were funded, and often they'll have an abstract, which is a brief description in a paragraph or so of the project. By reviewing these, you'll get the idea of what types of projects the funder really likes to fund, and that can help you more closely target your proposal in a direction that is more likely to lead you to success. Would you like some more tips? If so, please take a look at grantgoddess.com. We have all sorts of wonderful resources there. We've got free webinars on grant writing and program evaluation, nonprofit organizational development. We've got lots of articles. There are other multimedia resources. I strongly encourage you to take a look at it. The vast majority of what's there is free, but there's also the opportunity to join our member site. If you join our member site, you get even more resources for grant writing and program evaluation, and particularly nonprofit development as well. So take a look. You can also follow me on Twitter at Grant Goddess, and look for us on Facebook at Creative Resources and Research. We'd love for you to join us and become a fan on Facebook. So come on back next week. You'll see our new weekly tip for grant writing. And in the meantime, go ahead and go to our website, drop us a little note if you've got a particular question. We would love to hear from you. So take care. Until next time, we're wishing you success.